Okay, so amongst all of the Christmas and New Year hype, something quite big happened in England in terms of entertainment. So anyone outside of the country might not understand this, but something that's been occupying social media and something that a lot of people have been talking about is, of course, the well anticipated Gavin and Stacy finale. Uh, this was like the length of a movie, 1 hour and a half to conclude a TV show that started in the 2000s. So here I'm just going to go through what I thought about this and whether it's worth watching. Does it hold up well to the earlier parts of the show, which were so popular back in the day? Does it conclude this TV show well? Does it give it justice? Is James Corden as annoying as he is outside of that TV show? I'll go through all of that and what happens as well. There is going to be some spoilers in this, but if you're from the UK and you've not watched this already, I don't know what you're doing listening to reviews, but yeah, you should go watch this because what I'm going to say now is that this finale is brilliant. So this has gotten really good reviews generally from what I've seen. The only people that didn't enjoy this are people that didn't like the show anyway, or they realistically they hate James Corden, so they have to slag it off. That's basically the only people that I'm seeing dislike this finale. The actual people that enjoyed the original show, they all liked it. Like I've not heard a bad word said about it in comparison to the actual like main TV show that started, like I say, like 20 years ago. So some background to this. In my opinion, Gavin and Stacey is one of the best UK comedies in terms of like the 2000s, the 2010s, anything recent. It's got to be like top five for me overall. So this finale was like a big deal to a lot of people that love this show. And obviously, the Christmas special happened 5 years ago. We were left on that massive cliffhanger where Nessa proposed to Smithy. Obviously, it cut off at that point. So many years we didn't get this special, and you're kind of wondering, like, when is it going to come? Like, you can't just leave it on that. And then when they announced it, let's be all real, like, this, as good as this finale was, it was predictable in terms of what happened. But I'm not going to use that as a criticism. Everyone wanted the show to conclude in a certain way, and if they didn't do that, it might have ruined the whole thing for people. So I'm very happy with like how they finished it. It was obvious that for them to fill 1.5 hours and the main narrative that everyone wants to know the conclusion to is the Smithy and Nessa thing. Obviously, they're not going to be together at the start. It was quite obvious that at least what I predicted was that he would have said no. And then the whole special is just going to be them getting to that point where they get married, whether he has to win her back or I don't know, whatever happens. So, yeah, we're obviously at the start. This was the first thing that really went trending on Twitter is, of course, like 5 minutes or so into the finale, like they're all obviously talking about this wedding, and I'm kind of thinking, like, what's going on? Like, there's no way they're just getting married. Like, that's it. They're just going to start it like this, and it's just like easy. Like, it would have felt a bit cheap and just easy, but obviously there was that big reveal of Sonia being the wife to be, which once that happened, like I it kind of clicked in my head because I was questioning the whole thing. Like, surely it's not this easy. And when that happened, I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. That's like the narrative for the show. Fair play as well to the actress who plays Sonia. Apparently, like she had to keep it from everyone. She kept it a secret from her family. Apparently, I've heard that she's recorded their reaction watching this without knowing that she was in the show. Fair play, because if that would have been leaked, it would have revealed pretty much the entire thing. So a lot of people obviously hate her character, but fair play to her as an actress because she sold it really well, and her keeping that secret, she has done her part in terms of concluding this TV show well. She wasn't in the original series, but she's been an important part in concluding it. There is some other stuff with the other characters, but this was the main storyline. Obviously, the show is called Gavin and Stacy, but they don't really play too much of a main role. They're more just supporters. They're more of a supportive role in terms of the Smithy and Nessa storyline, which to be fair, is what we all wanted. Even though the show's based around them, even in the main series, I don't think they were the most interesting characters, and it was mainly the side characters that were the ones that sort of gave us the funny moments, and Gavin and Stacey were more for the narrative, whereas obviously these last two specials they do kind of play on the side a little bit more. There isn't much to really do with them anymore. They've gotten through everything. They're together. They're in Wales. They've got children, which I'm fine with. Like they didn't ram it down our throats that they're the people of the show. They played an important role. Gavin was obviously supporting Smithy through this disaster wedding that nobody else thought was a good idea, and Stacey was sort of supporting Nessa. So they had their own moments together. The whole role play thing that was pretty funny, to be honest. That gave some good moments, and I like the self awareness where they were saying that Stacey was a bit of an attention seeker and things like that. And then they obviously didn't really include her too much in terms of pushing herself into the storyline. She was just there as a supporting character, which I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Stacey in this TV show, but in the special, I think they wrote her perfectly. I think they acknowledged that, and her character's matured a lot, and yeah, she's a lot better as a character now, I think. But yeah, they had some funny moments. The whole landlord storyline, which yeah, there's a few like decent moments there. Then you've got Mick and Pam, who again they didn't really include too much. They were there as supporting characters. Mick was more included because he was sort of the father figure for Smithy, trying to figure out what he should do with this situation that he's in. And I think again they played him perfectly. Also, in terms of this Essex lot, it was really good that they included Smithy's sister, his mom, also the friends as well of Gavin and Smithy. That was really good to get all these old actors back and just show them. Again, it's just a nice nod to the original series. Also, of course, you've got Pete and Dawn, which they're always arguing in the show. They are really funny. I think they're quite underrated, to be honest. But the only real storyline they could have done with those two characters at this point was to break them up and divorce them. And they went down that road in this finale. And obviously they end up back together. But again, I think they've done that perfectly. You kind of see how they react in that scenario that they're always kind of on the brink of in the actual show. Of course, they end up back together. Like it would have left it on a sour note if they were just still arguing and sort of like bitter towards each other. That scene, by the way, of Gavin and Stacey walking in on them was one of the funniest bits of the finale. I think it really caught me off guard, to be fair. And then in terms of the Welsh side of the cast list or the character list, let's start with Bryn. I wasn't a big fan of Bryn in this special, to be honest. He is arguably the best character in the actual show. In this, he came across a bit harsh. I don't know. The innocence had kind of gone from his character a little bit. He was funny on the stag night, like him sort of dancing around, trying to make it a proper like stereotypical stag do. Like stuff like that was quite funny in like the whole like lad environment. But he was a bit of a dick to Gwen, and again, you kind of just think it was a bit far for me. That being said, it was quite funny him getting really drunk at that party, I suppose. So that's another thing. But I think his character's the one that wasn't quite up to level of what he was in the actual show. Another interesting storyline, which I'll be honest, even though I said the main storyline of the finale was predictable, this one really caught me off guard. To be honest, was the whole like Gwen Dave thing. I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, it's the one part of this that I was a little bit like, I don't know how I feel. It seems a bit like far fetched, but it kind of worked, if that makes sense. It was so weird at the start, but I'm not really against it. Like, I think they've written it as well as they could have. I think if you'd have said before we saw the finale, oh yeah, Gwen and Dave are an item, I think that would have put a lot of people off. Like, it would have felt a bit forced. But his role, like after that in the rest of this special, it was good. Like, I don't mind Dave as a character. People don't like him, but I think he plays a really good role in the show. So having him back in, I get like it was probably difficult to write him in. Like how would they involve him? So putting him with Gwen, I get in that sense. But I was trying to figure it out the whole of this time watching this. Like it was quite obvious from the start. Like she kept checking her phone that she's obviously seeing someone. But I was trying to like figure it out. Like who could it be? Like I thought at one stage it was Bryn, even though he's with them like most of the episode. Like I was just trying to figure out like what who it was. Someone else, I saw like a comment saying like they thought it was Dick Powell, which would have probably been like it'd probably been more funny to be fair. But um, obviously, yeah, Dave coaches when he came down. My first reaction was, "Are you serious? Like, come on, there's no chance." But yeah, as it kind of went on, I was like, you know what, I don't hate it. Of course, we have Smithy and Ness's child, Neil the baby, now like I think 16, going to college. So he's involved in the series again. And again, like he did a good job. He's moving away from Wales for his education, and it leaves Nessa in a situation where she's got nothing back home. So it means that the stakes are higher. She's going to leave and like a job on a ship. So it kind of raises the stakes a lot more for Smithy to get things sorted with her quickly. So yeah, I he played a good role. I feel like he should have played more of a role towards the end. Like the fact that his dad and his mom, like his dad's about to propose to his mom, and he isn't there on the coach with all the others, and he's not really that important in terms of at the church where Smithy's kind of like calling off the wedding. It's a bit weird how he's not included in that. I get that they want to just have the original cast be like the main element, but I did find it weird how we didn't see anything from him, or he isn't at all like part of that decision or how things went. So yeah, that's the only criticism I have. But I get what they're trying to do, but I feel like for him as a character, they should have made an exception there. And he also wasn't in the final photo either. And again, I guess I get that he's not in there from the start, but it feels a little bit weird. Another thing that this special did well was all the references that they put to the original show. I couldn't possibly list them all, but everyone's discovering different ones. There's some obvious ones, like of course when they're in the taxi. As soon as they rolled into KFC, I knew that there was going to be some corn on the cob reference. Obviously, there is one. There was also some of like the dancing. They were doing like the robot at Mick and Pam's house. That was another reference. The phone party as well. Like when they had the phone party in the original series, it was kind of depressing as well for Gavin, and this time it was for Smithy. Well, for all of them really, as they kind of find out they're just old, like things have moved on. So that again, like, was another one. Other references were like Gavin waking Smithy in the bath after they'd been drinking the night before. There was like an Owen Hughes reference as well in there. So little things like that were good to pick up on in the show. And there's a lot that went over my head, and it's good for people to like pick up on them and sort of share them on social media. So that's like another good thing. Obviously, the fishing trip that wasn't revealed. I'm glad they didn't, to be honest. Like, there's no story that would live up to it. But yeah, this finale was brilliant. Like, it concluded everything well. Obviously, Nessa and Smithy, they get together, they get married. It's all a happy ending. It was, yeah, there were some good moments in there, some good lines. Sonya was really dislikable, which is her role, and yeah, I think the whole thing was played really well. So yeah, if you haven't watched it already, go give it a watch. Another video I want to do in the future is a ranking of all the UK shows. At the moment, I'm just trying to build up things by talking about things on my videos that are more recent and current. But that is something that I'd like to put out, is occasional like rankings and more opinionated videos. So yeah, drop your thoughts in the comments, what you thought about the show, anything that I've missed, just in general about my videos. Give me some feedback. Go watch some of my other stuff. There's quite a variety forming on this channel. Yeah, if there's anything you'd like me to make on this channel, then yeah, let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching.